The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic.
Marko Mijuskovic is registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities LLC, 7 Hanover Square, New York, 10004, and at Wealth Strategy Partners, 677 Ala Moana Boulevard, Suite 720, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. This show is for informational purposes only. Individual risk tolerance and investment objectives must be reviewed prior to making any specific recommendations.
And now your host, Marko Mijuskovic.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. You are listening Hawaii Money Resource weekly, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Wednesday night. So if you're driving and you're stuck in traffic and you may be a business owner, this is a good radio station, radio program to listen, because what we do here weekly, when we do have a guest, we pick their brain for 1 hour. We try to live through their experience, so hopefully you can learn something new. If we don't have a business owner, then we definitely talk about a business and how to position your business so one day you can exit that business in style. I think that's every business owner dream, so one day they can sell their business or transfer it so they can finally have a peaceful day without worrying about customers, about worrying about suppliers, about worrying about running the business. So Hawaii Money Resource been around since 2011. We interview over 400 guests in our studio from different type of businesses, different type of industries. You can definitely learn more by going to hawaiimoneyresource.com. hawaiimoneyresource.com is, we are actually expanding. Right now we are doing a facelifting on our website. So if you go online and it says that it's under construction, that's because we're doing a little facelift. That facelift is going to happen pretty soon. We are expanding nationally. We pretty much join forces with Money Resource from the different areas. We kind of started this trend here in Hawaii, and then we expanded to 3 other states, 4 included to Hawaii. And you're going to learn more about it as soon as everything is live and is going. Meanwhile, don't forget to visit our second website, Business Exit Planning Hawaii, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, businessexitplanninghawaii.com. This is for the business owners that are planning eventually to get out of the business. businessexitplanninghawaii.com is also full of the resources that you can utilize, from articles, press releases, white papers, videos. If you like watching videos, you can definitely go and see our most recent March workshop that we did in with our Business Exit Planning Advisory Board. You can watch pretty much all video, all workshops is recorded, and it's on our website, so you can pretty much on your own time learn a little bit more about a business exit and how to prepare yourself. You can also listen to our podcast at businessexitplanninghawaii.com, Business Exit Planning Hawaii. So if you miss our show by any chance, don't worry. The podcast is up and running, and it's available soon after our show is aired. So now let's do not waste any more time. Let's go back and introduce our today's guest. I'm privileged because a lot of people call this person a legend, and a lot of people did good PR for our today's guest, Jock Sutherland. Jock, welcome to Hawaii Money Resource.
Thank you, Marko. It's my pleasure.
I learned something new today. I asked you about your first name, and you educate me that is actually Scottish tradition. When you have a father and son holding the same name, the son is usually called Jock.
If their name
are the same.
John, yes. So it's like a junior or boy. Yes.
Perfect. And Jock Sutherland is the owner of Kaupoku Construction. It's a roofing and waterproofing company. So why don't you, Jock, give us like just a 30 seconds overview of your business. What do you do?
We do roofing and waterproofing for people that have either new roofs or repairs or an addition. There's a lot of construction going on in Hawaii for people that have an older member of the family, maybe that they want to take care of. So you have your additional dwelling unit kind of a thing that that at least our legislator has tried to make more favorable to a lot of people.
Perfect. Let me just adjust your microphone pretty quickly.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So, Kaupoku Construction Roofing Company. Jock, before we dive into the business and talk about how did you start it and all that good stuff, tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Why are people calling you a legend?
It's because of my surfing past. Marko, my father was a surfer before me, and my mother was a swimming instructor, and so I was in the ocean at a very young age, and I was very lucky to have some surfing pioneers from California and here in Hawaii take me under their wing, and that combined with living on the North Shore, growing up on the North Shore since the mid-'50s, enabled me to get a lot of experience and guidance from some very, very capable and experienced people. And so I was able to, win a couple of contests when I was 16, 18 years old. And
surfing competition.
Surfing, excuse me, yes. Surfing.
So I guess that's is that your hobby? Is that your primary hobby?
It is, but I like to go up in the mountains, go hiking too, as well as, do gardening, and Hawaii is a great place to do many, many different kinds of recreation. But because there's such good surf here, of course, it's something that I enjoy doing whenever I have the spare time.
And I'm not a biggest surfer, so forgive me if I say something that doesn't make sense when it comes to surfing. But is there any particular area, type of surfing? Because now you have stand-up paddling, you have surfing, you have longboard, shortboard, like. Right. Any preferences?
Not so much. Almost all of the things associated with the ocean I like to do, but surfing, because I grew up doing it, I feel real comfortable doing it. It's basically you're paddling, to try to catch a wave, and it's wave knowledge, ocean knowledge, it's safety, a lot of things, being concerned for your fellow surfers out in the water, and in case they get into trouble, what you need to be able to do
to help them out.
Yes, to help them out.
So now going back to you, where are you from originally?
California. We came over on a boat in 1952. My father was in the Coast Guard, and so he said, "Hey, we're gonna go move to Hawaii," and we were all, gee,
on a boat.
On a boat, yes.
How long was that trip?
A couple weeks.
I think you're the first guest in our show that actually came to Hawaii on the boat. I think you are. So since you've been here all your life, 60-something years, 64 years, they're pretty much your kama'aina, right? What kept you here? Because sometimes people come here, they grow up, and then they just leave.
Yes, a lot of young talent has left Hawaii, perhaps because of the lack of jobs, or because of friends in the mainland that can make a better life for them. But Hawaii has a lot of very good people, very good communities that are willing to help you if they understand that you have your neighbors' concerns, and you have a concern for the statewide society as a whole. It's a fairly tight-knit state, Hawaii is. But that being said, there are a lot of newcomers here, and the money situation, the economy has changed a lot over the past 40 years that I've been plus in the roofing industry. But what keeps me here in Hawaii is not only the good ways and the warm water, of course, but the people, I would say.
Do you personally think that Hawaii, because you've been here for a while, right? So do you personally think that Hawaii changed, or
yes,
or like living in Hawaii became more expensive, and it's getting more expensive every year?
Yes, it's one of the most expensive states in the whole country. And I saw a fellow with a New York license plate, and I said, "Hey, I'm glad to see that there's somebody else who has a state that charges higher taxes than we are, because I think we're number 2. But if you have a good job and you have a good place and a good community, then you don't have to work your fingers to the bone to make a living. Yes.
So let me ask you this, because you mentioned earlier before the show, we chit-chat a little bit, and you mentioned that you are pretty busy, and you've been pretty busy for a long time, like consistently, and I guess that's good. I mean, that's good because you are making a living, you're making business run smooth, and you operating. but in some extent, that's maybe like not something that you want to do all your, for the rest of your life, right?
No.
So how do you balance your personal time and your business time, if you do?
With difficulty, yes, but you try to anticipate how long a job might take, and also that your contingency plans are important, because for us in the roofing industry, weather is a very big factor. Here in Hawaii, it rains a lot. Last summer was pretty wet, so we got set back on a job. We were working on a geodesic dome, which is difficult to begin with, but the weather set us back, probably several weeks, and we've been working on it for 8 or 10 months, and it would be nice to be able to get it finished, and we're on the last 10% of the job now, but here in Hawaii, yes, the weather is a big factor, but also sometimes materials, are not available. So there's several different elements that you have to consider. And if you do have a good grasp of, what might happen, all your possibilities that might arise while you're doing your job, that you can schedule some time to be able to, like, say, early in the morning.
For yourself, you schedule some time
personal time,
right?
Yes.
So what do you usually do? When is your time? Where is Jock time?
Well, sometimes early in the morning. Like right now, the light is good from the time of 6:30 in the morning or so, 6:15 in the morning. So maybe I can get an hour out in the water if it's good, or in the evening. Last night I went out at 6:30, which is not the best time, but sometimes it's the only time I have, and it's dark at 7:15 or so. So I only got a half an hour, but it was almost enough.
What is there like daily routine? You go in the water pretty much every day?
No, I don't think that I need to go in the water every day, but at least 2-3 times a week. But sometimes it's only once or twice, and so. But I can feel it. The brain starts to. I imagine the brain starts to shrink up. If you don't get your water time, you get a little crabby.
Right. You need a little time off.
Yes, you do.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate you sharing a little bit about yourself. Today's guest is Jock Sutherland. He's the owner of Kaupoku Construction. Before we go on a commercial break, what does this mean? What is the meaning of?
It's a Hawaiian word, Marco. It means ridge beam from the days of the thatched roofs, and so it not only means where everything else is tied together, yes, but it also means high point in general. Or if someone is stuck up, you can say, "Oh, his head is up there in the kaupo." So there's several. The Hawaiians had several symbolic meanings.
Perfect. I appreciate that, Jock. Why don't you stay tuned with us if you're listening to our show today? Before we go, what is the best number to reach you, Jock?
808-221-4952, my number.
808-221-4952. Today's guest is Jock Sutherland, Kaupoku Construction Roofing Company. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Surf with pop, dip dip dip, pop, dip dip. I got up this morning, turned on my radio. I was checking out the surfing scene to see if I would go. And when the DJ tells me that the surfing is fine, that's when I know my baby and I will have a good time.
760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Do you want to be a real-life superhero? Well, you can, just by donating blood. Did you know that 1 pint of blood can save up to 3 lives? Donating blood is a real way to make a big difference. Be a hero. Visit bloodsaves.com to find out more.
Hi, I'm Lex Friedman. I run my own business called Podlexing, so I know from experience, hiring new employees can be tough. With so many job boards out there, how can you know which one will produce the best talent? Realistically, to fill the position fast and with the perfect candidate, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can do it with a single click with ZipRecruiter.com. ZipRecruiter.com lets you post to more than 40 job sites at once. ZipRecruiter.com also posts your job on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Just post once and watch the qualified candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. You can screen applicants, rate them, and hire the right people fast. Try ZipRecruiter free right now and find out why it's been used by over 100,000 businesses. And right now, listeners of this program can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/info. That's ZipRecruiter.com/info. One more time, to try ZipRecruiter for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/info.
You're listening to Marko Mijuskovic on AM 760. More than 4,000 other listeners tune in daily to hear Marko talk about investment strategies and his new area of expertise, business exit planning. If you're ready to take it to the next level, Mr. Mijuskovic invites you to attend one of his complimentary seminars. Each month, he offers a seminar for business owners interested in business exit planning. For everybody else, he offers a second seminar on investment strategies. Either way, you'll get such a wealth of information that I'm going to attend one right now. For information on how you can attend, visit HawaiiMoneyResource.com. The lawyers can take it from here.
Registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, PAS, OSJ 7 Hanover Square, New York, 10004, 1-888-600-4667. Securities products and advisory services offered through PAS member FINRA SIPC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Guardian, New York, New York. PAS is an indirect wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Wealth Strategy Partners, LLC is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. 2014-16224, expiration 1/2017.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the Outer Islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, and you are listening to Hawaii Money Resource every single week, 5 to 6 p.m. Hawaii Money Resource, this is quite a few years we've been on the air. Since 2011, we interview over 400 guests, business owners, people involved in the business from different industries, trying to educate you out there and give you some tips and tricks when it comes to the running the business and growing the business. And just hear the stories, listen to the stories of the fellow entrepreneur that running the business and being in the trenches here in Hawaii, trying to make a living and get, just get the business going. Today's guest is Jock Sutherland. Jock is the owner of Kaupoku Construction, roofing and waterproofing company. Jock, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself personally. I think you have a quite interesting story, and the reason is because you've been here for a long time. 64 years, and you pretty much see Hawaii from a different perspective in the past and now. But now I want to kind of dive into your business, and because I want to learn from your experience, what hoops did you go through when you were growing your business and starting your business, and kind of just take me down memory lane and tell me where this all started.
Well, Marko, when I got out of the Army in 1972, I already had some friends who were in the roofing industry for 3, 4 years, 5 years. And the roofing industry in Hawaii was already, good size because roofs have been, an integral part of the Hawaii construction industry for a long time. But with the exponential almost growth in Hawaii in the late 60s and 70s, big housing tracts becoming more prevalent, like Mililani Town and what have you, that there was a lot more work to be had. And when I got out of the Army in late 71, and the spring of 72, my friends who were already in the industry said, hey, you should come try roofing, because, I was pretty much in shape, and, I had done carpentry on my mother and father's house in the years up to that time that I joined the Army.
How long you in the military?
Just a couple of years. I volunteered in 1970, and that's always it's a good tip. It's a good card to be able to play when you're working for ex-military people, because when they find out that you volunteered instead of being drafted, they go, "Oh, you're one of us."
Which become instant family member.
Yeah, almost.
Okay.
So I joined. I was starting to roof, and probably roofed for about 6 months, 8 months in 72, and then I joined a company that was unionized, Peacock Roofing and Termite Company. It was originally a termite company, and then it became also expanded to becoming a roofing company, and started working up at Mililani Town, which was starting to get
busy.
Expand quite a bit. And so I joined the union probably late 72 or so, and was in the union for 6-7 years or so before I started to go out on my own, which was about 1982.
So let me ask you this: 72, 82. Why did you go on your own? What happened?
Well,
And how did you make that decision?
Because being part of a company means sometimes you have to get up before dark and you don't get home until after dark. You have to drive to the yard and then you get your ride on the company truck to the job site. And it wasn't necessarily constrictive. The benefits were pretty good, and the people I worked with, they were people that I had kind of grown up with, and so it wasn't unfamiliar territory. But I felt that, perhaps, having done the roofing trade, having participated in the trade, and developed, a certain amount of skill, I could almost call myself a journeyman, after about 6 or 8 years, that I felt that perhaps I could do it myself. And I had, other friends that had their own companies, had gone out on their own. I figured, well, let's give it a try. And so, I would still, and I still do, if someone else, like a contractor friend of mine, general contractor, wants me to do some work for him, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll subcontract out my labor to him.
So what about it, like, you mentioned, like, there is a benefits, there is a steady, income, you're getting paychecks on time, hopefully, right? Mm-hmm. And then now you're going on your own where you're writing your checks, mm-hmm. and you are the guy who is actually getting paid last. Mm-hmm. How did you deal with that?
Well, you try to stay away from having really, really huge jobs unless you have a general contractor, like I said, that you would be working under. And so you're mostly doing smaller stuff, but you're out there in the community, and you're getting your reputation out there, and so you realize exactly how important it is to be able to be concerned with quality, be concerned with making communication, making sure that your homeowner knows the alternatives. You give them several different choices to make, and you try to give them whatever. You are cognizant of his sense of aesthetics, as far as color, but you try to steer him away from things that he might want to do, like having a big tree next to his house, which is okay for shade, but not so good for the roof. It can cut your roof life in half. So you try to be careful about all the things that he needs to know and let him know it.
Education, right?
Right, education.
So since you started, you were running your business in 1982 until now, and you've been into a lot of cycles, because construction industry, roofing industry is cycles, right? And it's good thing we have a lot more and more houses popping up, so they more and more need the roofing. But there is a cycles like anything else. So like you've been pretty much through cycles in 1990s. You've been in cycles in early 2000. 2001, then 2008, 2009, some 2011, so how do you deal with that? Like, how you keep yourself busy, and what you were doing to prepare yourself when you have that down cycle?
Well, in reality, because there's always roofs that will need repair, and even though there is a downturn in the economy, people are always looking to make new additions or an entirely new roof, because you have the people that live here for a long time, but then you have your people that are buying real estate here in Hawaii as an investment, and that's really snowballed over the past 15, 20 years. And so because I live on the North Shore, where there's it's very famous for its surfing, there's a lot of people that have bought houses, even big surf companies, and spent millions of dollars in redoing a house right on the beach, and so that kicked up the real estate value. So as far as going back to your question about what do I do as far as the changes in the downturn, say the cycles in the economy, how does it affect me? Well, because I have kind of a local reputation as being concerned, not gouging people. I try not to gouge people. There's a lot of people, kind of lucky for me, there's a lot of people in my business that are not necessarily fly by night, but they will overcharge, or they will not give the homeowner the information that he needs. And so I once I developed the reputation after 25 years in the trade of having concern for quality and not overcharging, then my availability of work made it was pretty steady, and all the downturns over the past 30 years haven't really affected me.
Well, that's good that's definitely good to hear. Now let's do the same time frame, but like different question, and that will be like, look at your business from when you started, and then like growing over time. How do you summarize that? Like, what will be the difference between when you started with your business versus where you're at right now? If you're looking back, like, what will be the major differences?
Well, 30 years ago, I was probably making $20, $25 an hour, and now it's more like 50 to 60. And so that's one major difference, and that's one of the reasons that when people tell me, well, how come, you haven't retired and you don't just sit in the office and write the checks? And there's two reasons, actually. One of the reasons is that people tell me, don't just send your guys there. We want you on the job. And I commiserate. I understand why they ask that. Because there's a lot of things that can go wrong on the roof. And so, if you just have your guys there, sometimes it will. And also another reason is that even though, I will be 70 years old next year, that the money has gotten to the point where it's still very good. And I tell people kind of half joking, I didn't spend this long in the trade to get to this point to quit now, because the money has gotten so good that, as long as I work smart, and not completely destroy my body doing it, that I'll try to continue doing it. And surfing helps too.
So I understand that you're saying like that pretty much, it's a good business to be in.
In general, yes.
In general. But like if someone is like is this because you just started so long ago, so you kind of caught this wave, if I can call it this wave, so you kind of like gradually growth, and it was a good timing and for growing the business in the roofing industry. Will that be the same situation for me if I want to start roofing business tomorrow? Will I be expecting similar thing, or maybe not, just because everything's changed, right?
Right. There's a lot of technology which helps people to be able to research material on their own, that you can tell them, well, just look up this website, et cetera, et cetera. But there is a lot of competition out there. And there's a lot more regulation. OSHA has become a lot more prevalent than it was like 30, 35 years ago. And so you need to be cognizant when you're on a job that's a high visibility job, that you are OSHA compliant, with your safety equipment and your guys, being educated. That's why I like to use people that are either surfers like myself, because in general we're good on our feet, or one of the fellows who's not a surfer, who's a member of my working team. He's a martial artist, and he's also a shiatsu guy. So in case we get a strained shoulder or knee or something, he can fix this up.
Fix it quickly. So what you're saying is pretty much like maybe not necessarily that you can really grow the business like you used to be, just because the generally market is more challenging, and industry becoming a more challenging, just because you have a bigger competition. Now people maybe care about different things versus what they're used to care before.
The ecology, yes,
right.
Having green materials, yes.
Right, so people are concerned with certain things, and in some instances these products can be a little bit more on a higher end when it comes to the pricing, so then you need to adjust your profit margins. I mean, it's kind of snowball effect, right? Perfect. Jock, we're going to take our second break, and then we're going to, after we come back from the break, we're going to talk about business as is today. What are you dealing with, what you're working on, and how you try to inspire and motivate your people when they're working for you, and how to stay on top of your clients as well. But before we go, if you can look backwards and you can look in the past and back in 1972 or 1982 when you started your own business, will you do it again? Or if not, what you will do differently?
Well, perhaps I would go back to college and try to get a degree in marine biology, which is what my mother and dad, kind of wanted me to do. But it takes a lot of schoolwork to be able to do that. But it's what's in the market. What can bring you a good job. We knew some people at the university and at Sea Life Park, personal friends.
Well, what you're saying right now, is he saying that you might not be in a roofing business if you can look backwards?
Yes, it's a hard business, physically and mentally, but it's good work because you're outside, as long as you're not using too toxic of a kind of material. And so I might, do something similar to that. I might. I probably would
adjust it a little bit.
Yeah, but I probably would. I probably would have gone into the business. Yes, again.
Perfect. Today's guest is Jock Sutherland. He's the owner of Kaupoku Construction roofing company. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
.760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
We asked kids what it took to be a dad. This is what they had to say.
A father is always present. I mean, what real father figure can you have if they're not there?
In order to be a good dad, you need to love your son. You need to put gas in your car so you don't break down in the middle of nowhere. And you need to make them breakfast. Yep.
I mean, just to maybe play like a board game with me, or to just stay home and play some video games with me. Just to do like that one little thing is what I really look forward to.
I'm not asking him to be a perfect dad, but he should try.
He's just a constant force in my life.
There's no other type of love like a dad's love because it's not comparable to anything else.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii and Windward Ford in Kailua want to put you in the driver's seat in a brand new 2015 Ford C-Max Hybrid valued at $26,000. Place your winning bid beginning Monday, January 16th to Friday, January 27th at hawaiisalem.com. Just click on the kidney car banner and start bidding, and you could be driving a brand new Ford C-Max Hybrid from Windward Ford in Kailua and the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner, Business Exit Planning. That's forte. That's what we do, and that's what we talk about here at Hawaii Money Resource when we do not have a guest. How to prepare your business so eventually you can get out of the business in style. We call that in style. And what does that mean to you? That means that you can sell your business for maximum amount of dollars and pay minimum taxes. That's the name of the game. If you want to learn a little bit more, don't forget businessexitplanninghawaii.com, businessexitplanninghawaii.com. That is the website that you can go and check it out. You can find a lot of good stuff under the resource tab. You can actually watch our most recent workshop that was done end of March. You can check it out, and pretty much hour and so off. Pretty much conversation between me, CPA, business valuator, and also business attorney. We had a panel discussion. We were talking about how to prepare your business so eventually you can get out of the business. Don't forget businessexitplanninghawaii.com. Now let's go back to our today's guest. Today's guest is Jock Sutherland. Jock is the owner of Kaupoku Construction. We learned earlier in the show what Kaupoku means. Pretty interesting. Jock been in the business for quite a few years. People call him a legend, veteran of the business, but also surfing. In a surfing community, he's created his name, his brand, I guess. Did you ever think about creating your own brand when it comes to surfing?
It's way too tough, Marko.
I can imagine that. Okay, well, that's a little side question. But now let's go back and talk about your roofing business. We learned that just how you were running your business, and I can summarize it right now for our listeners that if you can manage to run your business what we call lean and pretty much make sure that you don't extend yourself too wide. You can make a good living when it comes to the roofing and being in the roofing industry. That helped you, Jock, like from our conversation, to go through the down cycles and pretty much do not have any down times. You mentioned during the break we were talking about the risk and safety issues that roofing business is coming with as a package, and cost of insurances can sometimes be very high, especially if you're not following all the safety regulations. So now we talk about the past. Now let's talk about the present. What will be the major difference between the past and today? We talked about earlier a little bit about material, but that's the material that you're using in your business. What about the business itself, the way how you're running the business? What will be the difference?
Back 20, 25 years ago, because we were using not so many high-powered tools, a lot of the work was done by hand. So now, because we are using more nail guns and more battery-powered saws and stuff like that, Marko, that we need to be concerned about, how to keep the tools, maintenance, and also what will be the new challenges, the new kinds of tools either that will come up, or what the dangers will be in using these kinds of tools, for one thing. And the other thing would be, how are we going to train our employees to be able to use these tools so that we can get the job done better.
Does the tool bring like some kind of relief? Are you getting the jobs maybe done with better quality or faster?
Absolutely. Not only the safety equipment is easier to work with than it was 10, 20 years ago, but having battery-powered tools instead of electric tools, they've come a long way in the past just 5 years as far as the power that you can get out of a battery-powered tool and the length of the lifetime of the battery.
I can just imagine before you need to stretch the cables and then like someone can trip easily and there you go, flying down.
Right.
So when it comes to so when I'm looking at your trade, I'm looking at this as a twofold. You need to be skillful in your trade by doing the work, but you also need to have some business sense and some kind of business mindset. How you were dealing with that part? Because that wasn't like something that you went to school for. It was pretty much self-taught.
It was. So you learn from the older people that were in your trade before you, as well as the people that are in trades that are similar, like you have your general building contractors, the people that are actually working on erecting the houses, as well as we call that trade courtesy, when you do something that makes it a little bit easier, say, for the electrician. It's like also your chronology you're concerned with. Like when you're building a house, you want to have your plumber come in first before your electrician, because of the way that they're running their equipment similar through the walls. And so you're working with all these different trades on a big job, and so you want to try to maintain a sense of awareness about not having them tripping over your trash or your equipment, and you also learn.
So it's like a project management. You need to need to becoming good in running the business, running that project versus
expedition,
versus just like delivering the end product. So there is a lot of moving parts that you need to think about it, and you, as like you said, you learn that through the experience.
Yes, absolutely.
What about it, like other stuff, like picking up the right entity for your business, filing the taxes, finding the CPA, maybe talking to some attorneys? Like how did you deal with that part of the business?
Well, my ex-girlfriend, who I'm thankfully on good terms with still, she was a plumbing contractor, and her daughter worked for the state tax audit department, and she is the one that helps me on my paperwork, my tax filing. So that's
so you need to delegate that.
Oh yes, absolutely. Although I need to know exactly which papers to have, what the deadlines are, and what approximately I'm going to owe at the end of the year. And sometimes actually the state about 4 or 5 years ago asked roofing companies to estimate their volume of business 6 months or a year ahead of time, and start paying their taxes ahead of time, which makes it a little bit prohibitive for someone who's starting off with a roofing company.
More challenging, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What about the just growing the business and trying to stay ahead of a competition? What do you rely on that? What do you rely on a growth, on the marketing?
Well, if I'm really going out to try to promote myself, then I would, use some of the modern media. But like right now, I probably said that because people have heard about my ability, then sometimes I have a customer tell me, well, I heard from 2 different people, that you're the guy to go to. So it's made it capable for me to charge a higher price because they know that I do a quality job, and so therefore I'm in demand.
So is it fair to say that right now the most of your business comes through the referral?
Yes, mostly word of mouth, yes.
Word of mouth. I mean, that's the most effective way, I guess, to grow the business and always be in front of the competition. Are you concerned with where the industry is going?
Not so much because, like I say, there's not only advances in tools, but there's advances in the construction industry in general, although it be oftentimes, and it's been my experience in the past, that when you have a big, real big project going on, like a big housing tract, that the tract managers will cut corners on some of the material, and you have the homeowners actually coming up to you saying, will you testify in court about the substandard materials that we've had put in our houses? And I said, yes, this was going on up at Mililani Town about 30 years ago.
So what happened, I guess industry, just because it's like a lot of time, like one judgment can make the job either profitable or not.
Yes, it's a highly fraught business if you're making a bid, on a big job, and you're not taking into account
all the variables.
All the variables, yes.
And sometimes you can pretty much put the business out of the business if you make a mistake.
Very easily. Either somebody sue you,
estimators,
or somebody gets hurt, or you underestimate the job severely.
Perfect. What about the people? Like you mentioned earlier, the people that you usually hire for your work is people that are good on their feet.
Right.
I understand you need to balance yourself on the roof, but
right. Well, it's not only your sense of balance. It's also a work ethic, whether or not they can recognize that you want the job done, with a certain amount of quality. I mean, it can be less than perfect, but it needs to be pretty well, up to the standards what I believe the homeowner would want to get, for his money, because it's a service industry and they're paying us to do a good job basically, and we want to try to ensure that.
Is it hard to find a good people?
It is in general. There's a lot of people, youngsters or friends of friends. Like my sister's son wants some work this summer when he gets back from college in California. I told him, okay, because he's worked for me before, and he's a strong kid, and he listens most of the time. But
following the instructions, right?
Yes, it is hard to find good workers, but you can usually tell after a conversation of about 5 minutes whether or not he'll have some sense of dedication to the quality that you want.
Do you still get excited about this work?
Well, yes, because there's some jobs that are difficult, and you can tell they're difficult when you're going into the job, but once you take the proper steps to be able to be comfortable with your progress, that you can come out with a nice job, and they'll compliment you and refer you to other people.
So I guess it's a sort of a challenge.
Oh, yes, quite a challenge. Yes.
It's quite a challenge. And did you ever in the past face any obstacles that you couldn't overcome?
Probably. I can't recall any just now, because there's been some jobs that have been so big that I've just said, not necessarily so big, but so involved with facets that I didn't think I was going to be able to have control of, that I said, I can't do it. And that was, I've learned to be able to say no a little bit more, because
instead of taking everything and anything that comes your way.
Yes, because there's just too many chimes that.
Was it ever in a past, and this is just why am I asking these questions? Because people need to understand, when you're in the business, there is a lot of challenges that you need to overcome, and sometimes it feels like mentally challenge as well. And a lot of time people are pushing themselves to the limit, and a lot of time they cannot do it. was there any time in the past when you kind of says, well, like, this is it, I'm going to quit, I'm going to throw the towel and I'm done?
On a particular job, not so much. Yeah, I'll try
just
to find
in general.
somebody else. Well, in general, not so much, because I always felt that there was some reservoir or somebody I could ask, for some help to try to get the challenge overcome.
So what you will suggest to someone who is in a business right now, how to position themselves so when the time comes that is challenging, what they should do?
Well, try to anticipate, what maybe could go wrong, or what probably will be the major challenge to your ability to get the job done, and try to figure if you're going to need to call somebody else in, or look up some different technique, or have a different tool that will help you get the job done to the degree that you want.
So pretty much anticipate, I like the word, anticipate what is it that need to be done in that particular project. And this can apply to any industry, any type of work that people are, working with. Anticipation and be proactive, right?
Right, and I would suggest for anybody either getting into my business or any business in general, that in the New York Times, on the Sunday Times, right inside of the business section, that there's a great column called The Corner Office, which interviews heads of companies about how they hire, what was their philosophy, how they overcome difficulties, and all these things are very good tips as far as running your business and knowing how to.
Did you have any help in your business when you were like any mentors or any people that you could like rely on to just guide you?
Mm-hmm. In general, Marco, the general contractors that I work with on the North Shore, 4, 5, 6 of them, they were all good. And also my first boss when I was working union, Dick Peacock and his sons, they were good guides to me as far as my work that I was doing for them, which progressed smoothly into when I had my own business later on.
Perfect. Why don't we take our last break for today? Today's guest is Jock Sutherland. Jock is the owner of Kaupoku Construction, roofing and waterproofing company. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic. We are going to take a last break. Once we come back for the break, we're going to wrap up today's show with Jock. I hope you enjoy it, because a lot of resources, a lot of experience that Jock shared with us today. If you missed the conversation by any chance, you can definitely wait for a podcast. It will be available shortly after the show is aired. So do not change the channel. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
.760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
If you're pregnant, then you know there's a lot to consider. Here are some tips. Eat nourishing food. Stay active, get plenty of rest, and do all you can to minimize stress. Avoid smoking and alcohol. Learn your options for care before, during, and after the baby comes. Start planning for breastfeeding. It offers health benefits to you and your baby. It's best for you both if you give birth after 39 weeks of pregnancy. Learn more at childbirthconnection.org. This public service message is from the National Partnership for Women and Families, United Healthcare, and this station.
We all want to retire someday, but how will you afford it? Marko Mijuskovic here, financial advisor for Wealth Strategy Partners. Times are tough, but nothing brings comfort and security like having a financial strategy. Some financial strategies can be complicated, all those numbers and percentage points. It makes your head spin, but that's why I created an easier to understand system called Retirement Income Timeline. Let me analyze your situation using my retirement income timeline, and I'll show you how you may be able to turn your money worries of today into a stress-free retirement of tomorrow. It's easy. Just call me and I'll assist you. Get your personal retirement income timeline by me, Marko Mijuskovic, today. Call 695-2102, 695-2102.
Registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, abbreviated PAS, 7 Hanover Square, New York, 10004. Securities products or services and advisory services are offered through PAS, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor. 888-600-4667. PAS is a member FINRA SIPC.
Achieving personal financial success can be complicated. Marko Mijuskovic can make it simpler. That's something very good to know in a world where the wrong financial decisions can be all too costly. Marko Mijuskovic, Vice President of Wealth Strategy Partners, has been helping people in Hawaii successfully organize and plan their finances for years. Marko uses an holistic approach to help you balance your current financial obligations as well as your future concerns. And he does this while keeping things simple. Organizing your finances is serious business, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Find out how Marko can help you make smart, informed decisions about your financial future. Call him and schedule your complimentary session and tell him your story. He's there to listen. The toll-free number to call is 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102. 877-695-2102. Marko Mijuskovic. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. And you are listening to Hawaii Money Resource every Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Been around for quite a few years. Since 2011, Hawaii Money Resource interview over 400 business owners. And we also talk about business in general and preparing the business for final chapter. And that's a chapter when you're going to sell that business and get out of the business, or transfer that business internally to family member or some key employees. Let's go back to our guest today and wrap up today's show with a legend, Jock Sutherland, who is the owner of Kaupoku Construction, roofing and waterproofing company, and they do that statewide. Best number to reach Jock is 221-4952, 221-4952. Jock, on the end of the show, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. First question is where you want to go from now till the point that you want to get out of the business. So how you envision this last or final years you being involved in the business?
Trying to do probably every job as efficiently as I can, but enjoyably too. It's a very major part of doing roofing is to try not to beat yourself up too much, so that it becomes.
So enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's pretty much like do it, but do it with the pleasure.
Yes, in general, yes.
Do it with the pleasure. I like that. We can make that. Do it with if you're doing it with the pleasure.
Enjoy it. Yes.
Enjoyment. So second question for you will be like, what is your exit strategy? And we talk a little bit about during the break. So what do you think that how you would like to exit?
Probably with as little amount of fanfare as possible, but try to make it smooth where people that I know perhaps will be depending on my being around to help them on their roofing concerns will be able to talk to either my son or one of the people that have been working with me and that I can depend on.
So meaning you're going to be transferring to the people that you know.
Yes.
So you will hand your
contacts,
contacts and torch to them and say, well, guys, it's up to you now.
In general, but there will be a transition period of a year or 2 years where if they want to call me, they can call me and I'll give them some advice.
Good. How you envision your retirement?
Doing some traveling. Not being so concerned about my knees or shoulders getting so beat up that they tell me that they're going to mutiny if I take one more 100-pound bundle up the two-story ladder.
It's a heavy workout going on, right? Last question for the end of the show is if we have some youngster that is considering getting into the business and maybe starting their own career as entrepreneur and a business owner, what will be your word of wisdom for that?
I would say to go and try to work for a roofing company or talk to a roofing company owner. But my mother's advice used to be to, if you like a job, to try to go and hire yourself out like for free as an apprentice.
So go through the scoops of education first, learn the trade,
yes,
and then slowly get into the business ownership.
Yes.
Some experience, right?
Right.
And
OJT.
What is that?
On the job training.
On the job training, hands-on.
Yes.
Perfect. Today's guest, Jock Sutherland. Jock is the owner of Kaupoku Construction. Jock, thank you so much for being guest at Hawaii Money Resource.
My pleasure, Marco.
Perfect. Jock Sutherland, you can find him at 221-4952, 221-4952. Another great show. You were listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. Don't forget to check us online. Hawaii Money Resource is going under some facelift, but you can see pretty much the same thing at businessexitplanninghawaii.com. Stay tuned. Do not change the channel, and we'll be right back.
The Living Balance Sheet and the Living Balance Sheet logo are registered service marks of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, New York, New York. The graphics and text used herein are the exclusive property of Guardian and protected under U.S. and international copyright laws. Copyright 2005 to 2011. The Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. This show is for informational purposes only. Individual risk tolerance and investment objectives must be reviewed prior to making any specific recommendations. Marko Mijuskovic is a registered representative and financial advisor for Park Avenue Securities, LLC, 7 Hanover Square, New York, New York, 10004. Securities products, services, and advisory services are offered through Park Avenue Securities, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor. 888-600-4667. Financial representative, the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, New York, New York. Park Avenue Securities is an indirect, wholly owned subsidiary of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Wealth Strategy Partners is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Park Avenue Securities or the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Park Avenue Securities is a member FINRA SIPC.